Previously on Talk Hard.
I'm so glad.
Greetings and salutations, one and all, to Talk Hard. I am Pops, apparently.
That old man, I love him. He's the part where he's like, "That's an interesting tactic," and then the guy comes out of the branch. That's an interesting tactic too.
That's an interesting tactic too. I'm a tree. I'm a naked tree. That snake is coming out of. Oh wow, and that's the one where she's like, she is the most poisonous, and you're like, didn't that just? Well, let me ask you. Have you seen this movie before?
Oh yeah, this is one of those. This is one of those movies that a young Iron Caster had seen.
That meant there was some parts he watched more than others.
Oh, I remember quite a bit of this very fondly.
But I had my own VCR. I had my own TV in my room, and I would go down and rent the VHS or whatever, and watch it. The tongue thing, yes. And I'm like, and my dad comes in. I don't ever want to catch you watching this while your mother's awake. He was very specific.
It was impressive on the big screen to see some of these scenes.
I can imagine.
Snake out of nowhere.
The most deadliest snake, the hoo-ha snake. Son, ain't you ever heard of the hoo-ha snake? Very dangerous. I'm going to poke it with a stick.
I bet you will.
This is fun.
Oh, no.
Boy, do I have a surprise for you.
All right, folks. Welcome. Greetings and salutations, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Talk Hard Tuesday is here. And yes, technical difficulties are wide and large and crazy indeed. So yeah, it would not go through. It gave us a different link. We don't have a chat yet. I don't think that worked at all. I don't know what's happening out there. So going to continue to try to share out the link the best I can. Get that fixed for everybody. But here we go. We're here doing our thing and here trying to make it work. So stormy weather here in Florida. I don't know. Hopefully everybody out there is doing well. We're doing our Tuesday thing here. Hopefully hanging out with you guys, having a good time. So with that said, welcome to everybody. Ironcaster, how you doing, brother? What's going on?
Another week down, another week gone. We're in June. And I've gone to the bathhouse. No, I'm doing fantastic here.
What? Wait, what? I don't even know what's happening.
Wait, this didn't work out like I was expecting.
Bathhouse.
Well, we're spirited away. You gotta go to the bathhouse and get cleaned up.
Okay. Oof. That was a close one. I was a little concerned
what was happening. It's thematically appropriate.
All right.
My story, and I'm sticking to it.
We'll have to revisit that one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I should clip it. I'm not sure what I should do with that, Loki. But you and I both were like, wait, what?
Bathhouse.
All right. All right. Loki, my brother, what's going on, man? You doing okay?
Doing okay. Ready to get absolutely beaten to death for my opinion of this movie. So.
Yeah. All right.
See, I already knew. I knew exactly what was going to happen. Now everybody's looking at me and is like, what are you going to say about this movie? But I'm ready.
Okay. Let's do it.
Ready to take the heat. I can take the heat.
We're gonna find out he has a secret shrine to this movie right next to the xenomorph.
Maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has his own Soot Sprite room. That's what he's holding out on us.
Gotcha. Gotcha. SQUEEKA, what's going on? I know you're the massive Ghibli fan. How are things?
Things are great. It's summertime. Time to relax and chill. School's out. So just another Tuesday hanging with you guys.
Awesome.
And this may be the last time I talk to Loki.
He was ups on me.
No, it's not on you. No, that was me. I did it on purpose because I knew it was coming. So I had my hand over the disable camera button to make it. Oh, he's gone.
Like during the intro, so we had to restart. And yeah, here we are.
No, I know that Ghibli films are not everybody's favorite. I mean, heck, and Japanese animation is not everybody's favorite. And there are usually, I've seen a lot of this where you've got your Wicked City, Akira, Ninja Scroll anime people, and then you've got your Ghibli anime people. And sometimes the twain shall never meet. So I am okay with that.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Ironcaster, do you want to kick us off with what some of your high-level thoughts on this film was? I saw it when it came out, and it was just sort of like the press passes to Ghibli stuff. I was kind of just enjoying these type of films. I've watched many of them. Many of them I've not watched for a very long time. This one sadly is in that category, and sadly needs to be in the rotation a little more often for me. But what are your kind of thoughts on things? May not be amongst your favorite or not. What do you think?
Well, I would say that of all the Ghibli films that have kind of come along within certainly my lifetime, Spirited Away is the one that has been held up and above all the others as the critics' darling, the beloved of the lot that had sort of made for some audiences anime an acceptable art form to the point that people have been far more willing to consider the medium, to think of animation as more than just for kids. This is one of those movies that for some did the job of opening a door.
Okay. Yeah. I could say from critic circles that's a fair assessment for sure. That's a fair assessment for sure. I didn't say hello to this wonderful chat. Let's say hello to them first. Sorry. Well, sorry everybody. Claude, what's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well. How are you doing out there, man? Awesome, good. All these folks from the panels here. Loki saying hello to everybody, and this Ironcaster guy donning his I don't know what kind of shades we got tonight. He nicknames them weekly, so I'm not quite sure what they're supposed to represent this week. But here we go.
No, these are the old like spider dude down in the boiler rooms glasses.
Oh, I see boiler room glasses. Fair enough. Zax is here.
Yeah.
Zax, good day to see you, man. Good to see you. Lovely Mouse is in the house. Always great to see her. Ronnie is here. Great to see you, brother. Glad you made it. Glad you're hanging out with us. Switching to that laptop audio. Good to have you, man. Good to have you indeed. Stephen Ransom. Great to see you, brother. Awesome to have SR in the house. Boosh. Boosh is here. Good to see you, man. Great to see you. And just like people who covered their couches in plastic, I just made it. Oh my. Oh my. All right. All right, SQUEEKA. So again, you have a long love for the Ghibli films and that kind of thing. How do you kind of rank, or how do you think the legacy of Spirited Away is held up?
Well, I think it's held up really well, considering the fact that it was the first anime film to win an Oscar of the Ghibli franchise, and it did take a lot of bringing over from Japan. It was one of the first, along with Princess Mononoke, and it does appeal to, like Ironcaster said, it does appeal to both sides of the audiences. Now, that being said, one of the drawbacks of Spirited Away is some of the themes and some of the weight of the movie is more adult. In a lot of instances, more so than My Neighbor Totoro, which has a bigger following by younger audiences than Spirited Away may have. But at the same time, because it's part of that genre of ones that were released over here, Totoro, Spirited Away, Mononoke, those all became the cornerstone of what Ghibli was about. There's other films that Ghibli's done that don't get as much press, like The Cat Returns, things like that, that are kind of sillier, kind of funnier. Kiki's Delivery Service is kind of some people know of it, some people don't. But I think as far as what it entails, and as the stepping stone of Ghibli's work, I think it does. I think it holds the test of time, and I mean, I think no matter what age you are, it has something that it's going to give you, no matter how many times you watch it.
There we go.
Yeah. Before I get too far into the more of the story, I wanted to get Loki's hot take here. Throw that against the wall. He warned everybody, if you weren't here in chat, warned everybody that he might take some heat for his take. Go ahead, Loki. Tell us how you
Get to
feel.
the center stage.
All right. If I had seen this movie for the first time, thank you so much.
Sorry. I had to, at least for a moment.
25 years ago, if I'd have seen this movie and I was flying a kite in my living room, I probably would have loved it. Having seen this movie for the very first time today, it's beautiful. It looks beautiful. It's beautifully drawn. But it is some Twilight Zone shit in this movie. Do I think that's good? I know I was bored. So it captured me. The beauty of it captured me until probably halfway in the movie, and then I just kind of was like, after the bath thing with the giant garbage smelly thing, I just kind of checked out. So
Okay. All right. We'll circle back for here to the chat for a second. Lester says, if I had come in contact with this as a child, I would have rushed to see this. I think I'd grown past the genre.
yeah,
Interesting.
I would maybe that's my problem. Is I didn't see this 25 years.
I may show it to my niece nephew. Yeah, seems fair. Seems fair.
It's
And then-
it's a movie that appeals certainly to a more childlike audience, and there's something to be said for a lot of these Ghibli films, especially with this one, where your main protagonist is a little girl herself, so there is sort of that that mentality going into it, that mindset that this is a movie kind of geared towards young girls as the core audience to it, which nothing wrong with that there, because look, you should ultimately have movies that can appeal to all these different audiences and can have different target audiences.
I absolutely agree with that. 100%.
Like, you compare this to, say, some of the other Ghibli films. This movie doesn't have a lot of big A action to it, but there's a lot of excitement to it. Just Chihiro diving in to be the big hero to kind of solve the problem of essentially pulling the thorn from the lion's paw with with the water spirits. Basically being this clever one to figure that out. You have little things like this that are exciting. You get to see all these grand little extravagant characters and bits of mythology on display. But if you're looking at the big picture, like, it's not a lot of that big A action.
So I feel like, and again,
did you know that there was no script for this movie? This movie was written without a script.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
This was all kind of made up on the fly. And I agree. It does have its target audience if you go into this as a kid. And I feel like any movie genre and any movie set is going to have this, where they started out like, take Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, take any anime for crying out loud. Oh my gosh, I'm such a Naruto crowd, and it grew with me as an adult, and I still have it. Any collection of movies is going to have this genre where they grew up with it, and then as adults they're like, oh, I can still see the adult themes. But I get the feeling too of not being there for it. And so then it doesn't apply. Like, I watched The Great Outdoors for the first time. I'm sorry, that movie was CRAP with the extra C. Like, I just didn't get it. I didn't grow up in that genre, in that era of watching movies with John Candy in them. Like, to me, it was at best. So I get it, going into a movie that you weren't part of that crowd and it wasn't part of your growing up experiences. Okay, it is pretty. I mean, but it's not something I grew up with. And I have a lot of movies like that where I'm like, okay, well, I'm not a big Aliens person, because while the movie was great, Alien and Aliens, I didn't grow up with that whole alien thing or the Jurassic Park thing, or I get missing that train. But on the whole, that is what's required of these of all of the Ghibli films, is you do kind of have to have some buy-in, just because it is this very specific animation style and it is very specific storytelling type that Miyazaki uses.
There's a element of whimsy to it. This where you're seeing these fantastical creatures. Let's go ahead and start right away with Squeeka's favorite, the soot sprites.
Well, all of Miyazaki's films are like that. They all have a supporting. There's the Wawas, there's the Soot Sprites, there's like Calcifer and Howl's Moving Castle. There's these secondary characters that you love, and some of them make reappearances. Like in My Neighbor Totoro, they're the Soot Sprites you see again. So he has a lot of these fantastical creatures, and they are there for the whimsy.
But they're also used at the same time to tell great little lessons throughout the film. That if she starts just helping them out and giving them too much, being too kind to the soot sprites, they're not gonna work. Their reason for existence won't be there. So she's getting to see that just blind kindness isn't necessarily the right answer. And there's a lot you could take out of this, especially as you get a little older and you go to revisit it for that.
So the one thing I'm going to say about this, and again, I don't know if this is going to kind of explain how Loki feels. You guys have talked about it, but as I rewatched this, and I kind of did a little bit, I didn't know that there was no script at all. Squeak, I knew he had some self-examination and said, "Listen, I haven't really written anything for quote a 10-year-old girl," so he really kind of wanted to write something for like children, little kids. And I came away thinking to myself about my granddaughter's not old enough to watch this, but she's getting close. And I feel like they grow up so much faster now. And this felt a lot like Harry Potter book 1. It felt like it's for children. And a lot of adults are sort of like, yeah, that's cute. Yeah, that's great. All this crazy fantasy stuff and all this whimsical magic and stuff like that. That doesn't necessarily resonate, but I was really taken aback by how strong of a hero's journey she has, and a lot of like life lessons you need these kids to get when they're in that, like, now it's as early as 6, but definitely up to 10, 12 years old, especially a little girl. I like the fact that she has a little first crush. She has this, clear sort of like forced separation from what her parents are and the safety of being with them. And there's just a lot of great elements, I think, that the film does well. I love these things. I thought this was great. I love this guy. He's fantastic.
He's my favorite.
He's shaped like a spider. Of course, he's my favorite.
Yeah.
But it's also like down to her name piece. Like, remember your name, who you are. There's so many small things. Like the little girl that gets left behind when she's on when Chihiro's on, when she's Arsene at the time. She hasn't got her name back, I don't think. But when she's on her train journey, there's that train station where they all get off, and there's that one little girl left behind. And that's that symbolism of this could have been you. Like, she's there stuck waiting for her parents.
By herself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lester's adding that he probably would not even have seen Kiki's Delivery Service. Somebody had roped him into seeing it. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how this stuff has gone for a long time. Bush is showing Loki some love. That's always good. Always good to have you folks out there.
What's up, Bush? Bush!
SR says the film gets into some excellent displays of Japanese sorcery and the creation of an adult. Interesting. And I do think that is also, it's a great film for you guys. You're bigger anime fans than me. So this feels like a really good gateway film for kids to learn about anime, get into anime, like if they're not already, which seems like younger and younger as well. But it feels like this is a good film for that. You agree with that assessment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ghibli has a lot of films like that. Like even The Boy and the Heron, his last one, is a story. It's an allegory for him passing away and him moving on. He wrote it for his grandson to say goodbye. Like a lot of of Miyazaki's films, well, Studio Ghibli films in general, just because he wasn't the only one producing them, but have a lot of that silly, no story, but there's a really lot of story kind of lesson within them. I mean, one of the things about the studio is they even take the time, not only is everything hand drawn, but they go on site. Like they research a place, they research the landscape, they look at the shadows and the lights and the darks just to get a feel for the place because they want that feeling of place and time to come across in all of their animation.
That explains a lot because surprise, surprise, I don't like House Castle either, but I love the way it looks. The art style is great. This movie is beautiful in every way. The work they put into this movie is absolutely beautiful. And they earned everything they got for it. But I didn't like House Castle either. So I'm kind of like I get it. And maybe I'm aged out. If I'd have seen these when I was younger, I might have absolutely loved them. But we didn't have any of these. We didn't have House Castle. We didn't have Spirited Away. We didn't have a lot of stuff. And I went to Hollywood Video back then and Blockbuster. So I just apparently at some point I just missed out.
Well, and I think, like I said, I think it is a very genre specific thing. Like some people, and I feel like this is a lot of genres. Like you either find a niche and are like, I like these types of movies, and I want to see all of these kinds of movies. Like you have your Ghibli people, you have your horror people, you have your Friday the 13th people, you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's people that have these niches, and sometimes it's just like, okay, I just never got into it. You may be a horror movie person, but Friday the 13th is not your jam. You know, like it just wasn't something you got into. And that's fine. It's not, I don't think that's a hot take. I've met people that are like, "Oh, you're going to that Ghibli Fest thing? No, thanks. That's not the movie I want to see right now." Like
Well, this is the fun of doing this and having nerd talks, right? Is that we can agree to disagree. We also can enjoy the exposure of things and appreciate things in different ways. Let me get back to let me say hello to the Mad Doctor. He's here as well. Great to see you, Dega. Always great to see you, my friend. Zach says it really resonated with me. I saw it in the theater, but I haven't felt compelled to rewatch it. See, Zach, that's kind of how I felt. I do remember watching it with my middle daughter when she was a teenager. So it's probably, though, been a good 10 years since I've watched it. So, yeah, I feel the same way. Penny. Great to see you, Penny. Oh,
and
okay.
there's others
Cherry
too.
pop soda. Interesting. Welcome. Go ahead, SQUEEKA. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were done. I'm just saying there's others that are just as silly. If you want to give them to, like The Cat Returns is a pretty silly story. There's not really a whole bunch of in-depth lessons to be learned there. My Neighbor Totoro is the same way. Like it is meant towards Miyazaki wrote for kids, but he also wrote for kids with adults in mind. Like The Grave of Fireflies. Oh my goodness, that is a hard-hitting Ghibli movie. That will make you cry. Don't watch that one alone.
Cherry's saying that the favorite moment is Chihiro telling Haku his real name in the story, frees him from the curse. Yeah, it's really nice. It was sweet. It's good. Yeah.
Spirited Away for me was never quite in my top 5 for Ghibli films, and it's kind of largely because this was a film that I was a little older than, I would have been getting into my teens when this was coming out by the time I had seen it. So this is sort of, this had kind of just passed me, it's like, oh, I'm too old for this one, but these other ones are great. Because this was 2001.
I definitely want to get to like just a little bit what everybody's saying. Just it's a beautifully done film, first and foremost. I think most of their films are. I don't think I've ever seen one that has any sort of like technical issues with how it's put together. especially when we talk about how it was sort of like created on a fly, if you will, like not as crafted in a normal sort of like script development process. It's an amazing story. It's beautifully executed then, like the structure of it all, the way it flows, bringing in interesting and memorable characters, I thought was fine. I get what Loki's saying. Like, it's not moving. Again, this is my analogy to Harry Potter 1, right? It's a slow, methodical, not a lot's going on. Am I really invested? Do I really care? The sad thing is, I think with his movies is he treats his stuff as sort of a body of work. It's not like he's going back to the well to do another story about Sen or the adventures of Haku. So, just kind of is a standalone thing, and that's what we get. So, what do you think, or why do you think? Let's go to Loki because you have the biggest amount of hate for it. Why do you think there's so much critic? No, of the three of the four of us, you have the biggest. That's all I said. I said comparative to the four. Okay.
Right.
Why do you think the critics hold this in such esteem, though?
Oh, I get it. I get it. I get the lessons and the message, and it's like I said, it's beautiful. It's got an interesting soundtrack. And how they use it in the movie is for what it is. You couldn't have done it. I don't think you could have done any better. And for someone that's just like, maybe I'm just too old for this shit. I'm sure if you'd have seen this as a kid, you'd have been like, or in your 20s, or like I said, in my 20s, flying a kite in my living room, I probably would have thought it was great. But
Okay.
I'm 45 now, and I'm just kind of, I get it. I get where they're going. I get what they're doing. But like I said, halfway through the movie, I was just kind of like, and I watched it, and I thought the end was interesting, and I had a question, when her dad's like, "There's dust inside the car," and you're like, "Okay, how long were they there?" Because that doesn't happen, overnight. But you don't get answered that. The one weird thing they throw at you, they didn't answer that. So,
Well, do you kind of like the fact that they don't answer it? Because there's also leaves on the car. It's covered in. They're hinting that she's been gone a long time, and they don't even know. Which is kind of ironic because they just kind of like drive away as though they're going to still have their house and the movers and all that. Well, they basically vanished in some period of time. So
for how long? That'd be. I'd be interested in knowing that, but they didn't do that. So,
But I like that this wasn't a typical happy ending where it's like, oh, it was all in your head, darling. This was a fantasy thing. Like, there's obviously leaves on the car that showed there was a passage of time.
And I agree with that. And it adds that cool, like, what happened after that? I want to know that. Even if they don't tell you, that's still, I want to know that. But the back half of this movie, I was just kind of like, okay, all right. Keep going. Come on. There's an hour left. And that's just how I felt at the end of this movie. Was like, wow, the first half got me there, but then the second half just, okay, this is where we're at. This is where we're going with it. All right. And they followed
Ronnie
that
gets
path.
Ronnie feels you, Loki. You're not alone. It's okay. It's okay.
And I'm not.
I agree too, Loki. It is very much a Alice in Wonderland trope. Girl is in another land. There's a bunch of crazy stuff that happens, and then surprise, she's back home and everything's okay. Like, it is very much an Alice in the Wonderland movie. It's just like Coraline. It's just like Alice in Wonderland. It has that trope of girl is in another place, saves stuff with magical beings, and blam, I'm back home.
Yeah. No, I agree with that completely.
Well, I mean, if anything, I would say it goes to show you that, it goes to show you that there are real dangers of playing with the spirit realm, going of this other side of sort of reality, where there are things that people ought have reverence and respect for, and that you won't always get away unscathed. That there is implications for having gone and touched what not ought be touched.
And that the scene at the beginning where her parents are sitting there just gobbling everything up, and she starts to walk away. I was like, don't do it. Don't leave your parents. Something bad going to happen. And I was flowing with it until kind of figured out where it was going, and then it just lost me. I watched it, but I wasn't pulled in after that. It kind of snapped me out of being interested in it.
And I think that is the ultimate issue with it, is that this is a movie ultimately made for little girls. That it's gonna be okay, but it's not gonna be as engaging for other groups, for other, for guys. It's like, yeah, it's a fun journey to go on, but it doesn't have the same impact. It doesn't have the same emotional weight.
And I got through a chick anime, full chick anime, and that was what's that one with the Magic Knights Rare. I got through 2 seasons of that. I thought the story was very, very interesting, but that's like sci-fi.
I love that anime.
You love Magic Knights Rare?
I have pictures. Yes, I have artwork up on my walls. I love that. I love Clamp altogether. Anything Clamp, I love.
It's one of the few anime I let the opening play. I don't skip past the opening. Yep. I just let it go and go. So yeah, I thought that was great. It's and that's like, Sailor Moon shit, which I didn't like and I didn't watch. So,
but fun fact, I picked this one. This is not Miyazaki's best work, even though it is the first animated film to win an Oscar. This is not his best work. A lot of people will tell you that. They either attribute it to Princess Mononoke or Howl's and Nausicaa are kind of up there too, but mostly people know Princess Mononoke as his best work.
So
we're like that either. People can hate me for that too, but
so SQUEEKA, what would you say is the best?
His best work? Oh, gee, crickets. Oh, I don't know. I kind of like them all because they're silly. I mean, I love The Boy and the Heron, except for when they catch the Wawas on fire. I don't know. I like Howl's because I like the story behind who Calcifer was and the whole storyline behind what Howl meant. But at the same time, it's just, I am a Ghibli person. I do it for the storyline. It's like having that set of books that nobody else gets, but you read over and over again, like, oh, I'm a Wheel of Time fan. And other people are like, Robert Jordan is horrible. Like it's I get the whole storyline and the evolution of the storyline, so I don't really have a favorite. I go back to Ghibli Fest every year and watch them again in the big screen, down from, oh gosh, I can't remember that Poco Roco, the one about the little raccoon guys.
Totoro?
Oh, I can't remember the name. No, Totoro's different. I'll Google it here in a minute. But there's another anime he does that's just about the little raccoon gods. From that to, Nausicaa to Howl's, like I like them all. I don't have a favorite, unfortunately. Kiki's is cute, even if it's a little more disjointed than Spirited Away.
All right, so I've heaped some love at it. Let me tell you, my least favorite thing. I don't understand.
That's waiting for the baby.
It still hasn't aged well for me. I thought, well, maybe I'll be a little more forgiving of some of the silliness with the giant baby and the fact that it's supposed to be the crazy old lady's kid. Like, who's banging the crazy old lady Yubaba to kick out this thing? Like, how do we math that in Japanese fantasy to make that work? Chat, explain that freaking formula for me. Wish I'd been in the room to see Loki's first time seeing the giant baby. That
probably was the part that I checked out.
It was a little much.
The book coming through the door when she's about to sign a contract. The book coming through the door, I was like, "What in the shit is this?" And she's like, "Oh, I got to take care of it." She's talking to a baby. I'm like, "Okay, all right." But then I saw the baby, like all the baby.
Yeah,
I was just like,
look, germs.
Yeah, that was my least favorite thing with the baby thing. And I still didn't like this
G-string.
Yeah, I didn't like this guy. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I was like, it's still felt so weird. I feel like we're doing some sort of weird sumo metaphor that does not translate well. I kind of remembered this guy, but I didn't remember the baby. And it was like, oh, dear Lord. So, again, I feel like it's such a great film as a gateway film. And I do think it's just a great hero's journey film. Like, it just literally is the formula and works out really well. The only, I guess, my biggest criticism with that would probably be the fact that they did like the twin. It's got to be confusing for little kids. Like, if you get like an 8-year-old, like, that it's a twin. I don't know. Do they say it's a twin? Do they explain that Yubaba and
Yes,
is
yes.
it
She says in the movie that that's her her twin sister. Yeah, she
twin
does.
sister
Yeah.
Zeniba? Is that Zetaba? I don't know how you say her name, but yeah.
Yeah, she says that when they're at their house that they're twin sisters, and they're two sides of the same coin, basically. And yeah, the radish god is actually a callback to My Neighbor Totoro. There was a lot of little things that he put in this movie that are callbacks to other creatures and monsters that he's used in gods and things in other anime. Like there's a cat in one of the scenes that is the same as Kiki, from Kiki's Delivery Service. So the little radish guy actually is supposed to look like Totoro.
This
But
was also a little. This was also a little LSD with like the whole.
See, that's
was
what I'm
just-
saying. If I'd have watched it while I was flying a kite in my living room, I probably would have jibed with it, and I'd be watching it to this day. Because I'd be like, remember when we, flew a kite in the living room and watched this? And there'd be at least something to talk about.
Yeah, but I think that we could say the same thing of like a Harry Potter or something. Maybe even a little Lord of the Rings too. Like it takes a little bit of like some getting used to and what it's for. This just happens to be a very juvenile version of all that, which is fine. It's okay to have good stuff for kids. So I think it kind of fits that same vibe. But yeah, this was a little out there. This was almost felt like it was ripped out of like the Men in Black animated series for me. I was like, wait a minute.
Well, I would say, if anything, it does a good job to ultimately remind you that this is, of another culture, and for for Americans, it serves as a good reminder with that larger message of her going into this world of the spirits, that it's going to be something completely different than what we know. I mean, down
And
to just
I love Japanese mythology. I love the idea of the Onis. I love the idea of the spirit world and all of that. I love the way they thought. I still am like, it's beautiful, it's great, but it's wacky as shit. And
I can't wait
that
to
is
have these as shorts.
That is one thing, though. I would love to see more of that world. I would love to see more about the Japanese spirits, the Onis, the yokai. There's such interesting characters, such fascinating designs that are so unlike anything we're familiar with, that you can't help but want to know more about it, because it is so unlike what we know.
Yeah, that's a double-edged sword. I'm not sure I trust them for such. It's a good reference. I know this one too. The Wind Rises, also nominated for an Oscar. It didn't win an Oscar, but it was nominated. Engineering Building of the Zero, for sure. And visualizations anime should be regarded as metaphorical. Size is relative to stature, like the eyes. They exploit the notion the soul mirrored in the eyes. Yeah, I get it. They're loving the flying the kite. That's come up several times in chat, by the way. They love the flying. I'm shocked that is there going to be some memes, SR? You're going to like a Loki meme with flying a kite in a living room? It seems appropriate, yeah. It says Eastern philosophy, even the roots and fungi have spirits to worship improves their powers. Okay.
The idea is that everything has a spirit that lives within it.
It is interesting, but it is wacky. I am curious. Like, I don't know how the Grands will take this, because they've all had some anime experience. Even if it's just been like Avatar and stuff, just literally like kids cartoons stuff. But I've been breaking them in on vintage 70s stuff like Battle of the Planets and stuff like that. It's like. Actually, we talked about Robotech and stuff like that. So this is another level that we're trying to get them into now. Like, it's a little bit more mature, transitional more into something a lot more.
Well, sure, but the thing is, kids at the end of the day, kids do want to look at the forbidden. They want to see the unknown, the stuff that parents kind of shy them away from. There is that idea with like monsters are scary. Like I want to see monsters. My nephew, for example, he can't get enough of monsters. He wanted a monster vacuum cleaner.
Little boys more than girls, but I am interested to see how the girls will respond to the weird. They don't even talk heads. I don't. I actually watched it again and I kind of thought, did I miss something with the heads? But I just kind of went along with it. I have to. Maybe I'm just going to be the guy left in the corner by myself. Maybe Loki will disagree with me. I don't know. Kick me out of the club. I actually would almost like to see a live action Harry Potter type adaptation of this for kids. I actually almost want to see that level of detail and stuff, because reading Harry Potter and seeing it kind of translate to film the way it did for an entire generation and then some, I feel like Spirited Away is like a parallel to that in some ways in the anime world, and I can still see that value there. I don't know.
I would say only if the people who created this world and did this story and the artwork, all of them came
Yeah,
back
of
and
course,
had
of
them.
course. Yeah.
I'd be totally cool with that. You give it to some jerk off that doesn't get it, that changes the messaging, it loses all the magic, and it loses the magic of animation, because the animation's beautiful. It's beautiful art. I'll never take anything. Minoku too, beautiful, absolutely beautiful art. I didn't. It wasn't my thing by the time I got to see him, and I understand that, and people feel that way about the Dark Crystal. When I think Dark Crystal is a great movie, but a lot of that is from when I was a kid. I thought the Skeksis were freaking hilarious, and wasn't scared of them, and that was all Jim Henson stuff. So people still
That's a
don't
good
get it.
point. And I think this goes back to what you were saying, Squeeka, too. There is sort of like a bonding that you have between age 10 and 25. I call it the Nexus era. So you have sort of an extra affinity to those experiences. Some of them are kind of like the first time you might have experienced certain things. So yeah, I'm with Loki. Never-ending Story and Dark
Yeah.
Crystal, Tron. We can go back even further into this kind of stuff. For us, holds a different value than it would be for someone to come along to those things later. And like you said earlier, Squeaky, you didn't even have any experience. You go back to them as an adult and you're like, yeah, it's fine. You know what I mean? There's no real oomph because you didn't even have it even when you were younger. So I get all that. Do you think that's kind of the case with Spirited Away? Has it got a lot more of that than maybe I even realized?
I think it does. I agree that there is certainly that formation years, but that being said, there's also people that are like me. I didn't have anything from the time I was probably 5 to 20. And then my exposure, and I guess that's why I'm basically 10 mentally in a lot of cases. This is, I mean, I play with toys. I love teaching because I get to play with my students, but like it's just a matter of like I'm approaching all of this without that jaded sense of I'm an adult now and I didn't have this. And I'm not saying Loki's jaded. I'm just saying like that I guess that's why even having exposure, I didn't have exposure to Ghibli when I was little. I mean, case in point, all of the movies I haven't seen in my life that everybody else has seen. But I did start watching it at 20. And I think that's when, for me, my personality started developing in a way. Like I was independent finally, and I kind of had my own foothold in the life. And a lot of these spoke to that childhood plus the adulthood I was in at the time. So I think for girls, especially this movie, it was targeted toward 10-year-old girls, and that is that gap where they're going through a lot of transitions and a lot of things like that. And I feel like Ghibli does that with all of his movies. He approaches some sort of life transition, be it a relationship, be it the death of a family member, be it this girl's journey. Like he takes these themes from childhood and things that you're going to encounter and makes them an animated movie.
Yeah, really, really just fascinating how broad of a scope he does try to go with these films. Luis, I'd love your thoughts because you're talking about being a big fan of Ghibli films and then not seeing this one until you were older. So do you have a very similar response where you don't feel like it's as big of a deal as some of the others. I'd love where you come down on this, please. Make sure you give us the comments on that. Steve Ransom, it's interesting. Again, I think it goes back to what Loki we were saying about Dark Crystal. You know, when you grow up on Godzilla, Power Rangers, and whatever, maybe we give it a different type of response of which ones I don't want to say, what would be an appropriate term for this, like, weird contradiction in our nerd love? You know, because Ironcaster's got this massive love for Kamen Rider that I can't always relate to. But yet I'm a hypocrite because I watch Ultraman because it was like on every morning when I was going. It was like, so it's how different is it?
I
It
can't
wasn't
do the Power Ranger thing either. I didn't grow up with Power Rangers. Like, I don't know.
I was in that weird. I was in that like weird place where you're like, you got 1 foot in kiddom still, and you've got 1 foot in adulthood. And the only reason why I started watching Power Rangers was because of my love for Voltron. Because I loved Voltron when I was a kid. I still have my Lion Bots.
I was the other way. I loved Voltron so much I couldn't stand Power Rangers.
So
I was like, dude, y'all are horrible live action films.
And you were, and my best friend, one of my best friends I grew up with, that I mean, from like, you know, diapers on, but the exact same you do, SQUEEKA. He was like, that is nothing like that. Voltron was Voltron. The Power Rangers sucks. And I thought it was goofy and campy. And I was used to like Hercules: The Legendary Journey, so I was already watching campy. So seeing Power Rangers wasn't anything different than that. So it's a campy sci-fi Japanese mishmash with American actors. And they aren't even the original actors because half of it's from the show they had in Japan versus the show here. So I just liked that zaniness and all of it. Yeah, I thought it was funny. I laughed my ass off watching it.
I think camp is probably the right word for it all. That's sort of what makes this little corner of things as popular as it is that it isn't taking itself so seriously that it's unable to have fun along the way.
It does let me send out 5 memberships, so I did that there. Jinjin Ninja, Scattered Knight, Lord of the Forbidden, Sean, and Mexican Iron Man. Look at that. Mexican Iron Man getting a little membership there. Cool. Stephen Ransom, doing the palpitation childhood are great memory enforcement like trauma. Wow. Hopefully it's the other side of the coin. And House. Yeah, we talked about House here on the show, and I love House. I have a good time watching that one for sure.
Another one
okay.
I didn't like.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, it's just he.
I guess I'm just not a Ghibli. I'm not. I love the artwork. It's just.
But I think the difference is you came down with anime through Wicked City Ninja Scroll, so it's completely different, mature storytelling versus this, where it's just a completely different approach to different ages, and definitely a more. He's leaning into definitely a different type of spirituality and stuff with Japanese history and stuff. So look at Sean throwing down 5 memberships as well. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that so much. Went to Undead Ramen, Rami, June Hart, Captain Kirk, and Wakasashi's Tea House. Oh man,
Yeah,
Sean, thank you so much for that. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that so much. As Loki says, keeps the lights on for sure, and we appreciate that, man. It really is great.
Now, Miyazaki does have some more serious ones, like Grave of the Fireflies is certainly a more serious.
That one's heavy. I heard.
Heavy film. So if you like the artwork, you may like some of his more. And there's some too that are plot driven that are based off of absolute like Japanese folklore, and they follow the storyline and things like that. But a lot of his are, like I said, are that it's a kids movie with a story behind it for them to kind of get these adult lessons in a much easier kind of way and a sillier kind of way. But for sure, I'm not going to tell you if you didn't like Howl's and this one, like you may just not be a Ghibli person, and that's totally cool. But Grave of the Fireflies is a really good. It's a really hard hitting one, but it's really good.
That is on the list. Yes. Yes, Ironcaster. Is it on the list for at some point?
Oh, we don't have to put it on the list per se.
Yeah, we do need to, but it's heavy, so we have to make sure we find the right. Yeah, we'll have to follow that up with like Airplane or something. We can't string together two of those because, yeah. Angry
If you don't
Canadian
want
from across
to,
the pond. No, I'm down to see it. I've never seen it, but all I've heard is what she said, that it's great, but it's heavy.
And
I've
I
only
will,
made it through part of it. I haven't even finished it myself.
and for myself, that's kind of why I've also avoided it. Like, I know how like sad and deep that one is, but that's not the type of films that I tend to gravitate towards. So I've always kind of avoided because I knew fundamentally it wasn't going to be a movie for me.
Interesting, because Louise says that she sees House different because it's not Japanese. Those books different. So interesting.
That's true.
Interesting. Lots of love for AC, of course. Thanks again to Sean. Lots of folks chiming in here about everything. So, yeah, man, thank you, brother. Thank you so much. So, and on that member stuff, folks, go back and I'm sorry, just before looking, I just get into the archives there, some member stuff, and first, I love the heads up feedback from folks. I try to drop things from members ahead of time, even if it's just for a day or two, as I put together different videos and stuff. So, go ahead, Loki.
I was just say I said it last week when we did Ninja Scroll. This was like, I mean, I brought these home. I got to watch them on my own. No one, until my dad was like, I don't want to see you watching these while your mother's awake. So it was like SQUEEKA said, there was this almost like you shouldn't be watching this. Wicked City, Ninja Scroll, Street Fighter 2, all of it. Akira, Ghost in the Shell. There was always that like they have no idea what the hell I'm watching.
Which goes kind of back to what I was saying about, children want to see ultimately things that are forbidden, things that they're not supposed to.
But a movie like this starts to lay some of the groundwork that a parent wants. I mean, this is actually, I get why critics love it, myself included, because this is sort of like what we want these kids to watch. I got to be honest. I'm like, you can get a movie like this to, I don't want to say preach and teach, but this is kind of what Hollywood dreams they actually do, right? Where you just do life lessons. You're actually just showcasing some positive things into the audience. And if you have a small child, especially a young girl, they're not always the target audience. So it's good to see something like this. I get it's a kid's movie. It is a little wacky to think about this shot and this shot are in the same movie. That's a little hard to get our head around. Fair enough. Like that's, this and the creepy baby is with the little girl on her adventure. Like it's all okay. The LSD acid trip analysis might be fair, might be more fair than I realized going into this stream because I don't, maybe it's because I saw it so early on. I was like, oh, okay, that's what it is. But then again, I'm like a little bit of a hypocrite because I haven't been watching it regularly. But I don't have a target audience. Mrs. Pops is even more. I think she liked Kiki. I know we saw Kiki in the theater. I'm trying to think of what else we saw in the theater. I'm going back to the list. Where's this list?
To the target audience, Pops. If kids are watching this, they're watching it as kids. They're not watching it as a fully developed regional center where I'm looking for a storyline. I've experienced life. I've seen the ins and outs of things. They're not looking at it like I need an open and shut book. They're looking at it like, oh, well, this is a choose your own adventure. Where's this girl going to go? Oh my goodness, now I've got a bleeding dragon. Oh wait, he spit something, like she squished it with her foot. Like they're going to laugh at the times when it's funny. They're going to be sad. Like it does, and that's one of the charms of Miyazaki is he does this beautiful art and he tells these stories from the perspective of a child. He incorporates all these pieces and he knows his target audience. He, like, even when he talked about doing The Boy and the Heron and he came out of retirement to do it, he would illustrate something and then go, no, that's not right. That's me looking at it. I need my grandson to look at it. Like he would put himself in the shoes of a kid and say, what are they going to see? What are they going to look at? So it is designed for that target audience.
I'm totally okay with that. And I think as a critic and a commentator or YouTuber, whatever, however you want to look, we should be more fair discussing that. I have long said, I did a couple videos and I will do more as the grandkids come over the course of the summer. Well, I actually do reviews on kids movies, like children movies. Like I said, like for instance, Curious George kind of gets an unfair rap from everybody, because I'm like, it's literally for like little kids, like 4 to 6, or like
I love him. I love
yes,
that monkey.
it's a sweet little movie, and it does slide in some moralities, getting yourself in trouble, little different, little, So I think all that's fine, and maybe that's why I tend to be way more forgiving of this movie than my counterpart above me. I get it, but I also can get where Loki's coming from, where I tend to also have some intolerance towards modern cinema, because I'm like, wait, I've seen a lot of stuff that's awfully, awfully freaking good. You guys won't watch anything that's even black and white. Then you just tell me this other stuff that's hollow and empty with no message or moral. It's just a bunch of shiny things in front of CGI screens. That's not a story, though. And I think what Miyazaki does, he does all of that well. And he may be, I don't know, what generation is he technically a contemporary of? How old is he? Trying to go back. I gotta go back. How old he is? He's 84. He's older than
I
all of
do
them.
agree with Loki too, in the sense that as an adult, it's very disjointed. Like that's one of the only things I kind of don't like about Spirited Away, and why it's not one of his best works, is the fact that it was unscripted, and it doesn't. Some of the storylines are out of nowhere. You didn't even know that, like with the name thing, like don't forget your name, and oh hey, by the way, I remember your name. That's out of nowhere. Like it's like, wait, I didn't realize that her taking her name was kind of a big deal, and that the river, that Haku even needed his name back. Like, so some of it is really disjointed, and I could see even kids kind of not understanding some of it. But for the most part, it's unscripted. That's why it's like that.
But see, I think we get that across the board with different entertainment that we're into, right? So Ironcaster was right when he was talking about everything from Kamen Rider. We're talking about Power Rangers, and it's campy. And you get other people who look at that, oh, it's just trash. It's just stupid costume stuff. It's whatever. I actually did a review that'll drop about Godzilla versus Destroyer. Loki and I will definitely defend Godzilla till the end of time about the dudes in a rubber suit. Yeah, dudes in a rubber suit. Do you realize that this started in the 1950s? Do you understand why he's still in a rubber suit? Do you understand? So I get it. And maybe this is why this is a fun conversation to have, and maybe we should have more of them, because it's like, it is to challenge in ourselves as well, to go like, well, why is the target audience so receiving of this, and why are they, maybe we should be more flexible as adults. So Angry Canadian didn't like our Power Rangers hate there, or at least some criticisms. He did the how dare you. We dared. Where do you think the scissoring hen thing comes from, Icy? Get in the chat and understand with the emojis. Stephen Ransom, lead the way. Why there is a scissoring hen emoji? Where does the scissoring hen come from? That's, yeah. The guy above me, and if we were all, I was like, that is by far, Loki, the funniest freaking thing I've ever seen in my life. It's literally the scissoring hens. So there we go. Louise also says the artwork almost makes a huge difference to me. I love anime. Some Western styles make my eyes itch. Well, over the last 10 years, man, it has been brutal. I go back to this, and you guys were talking about how it's hand drawn. It's just beautiful. The research that they do, just, yeah, it's beautiful. It really is.
Almost everything is wanting to be CGI now,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a place for that. I love Advent Children. I think Advent Children is one of the coolest movies like that to come out of Japan. But that has its place there. You cannot like go, oh well, CGI versus anime. You can't do that. If it's enhanced in little ways, I'll cut it some slack. If it is a CGI movie, it is not an anime movie. It is not animated. It's CG. It's computer generated.
Yeah.
You can't put that up against Ninja Scroll and go, look, this one looks like this. No. That came out of a damn computer. This is all hand drawn. It's all art. This movie, that movie. I mean, it's Spirited Away is the same way. It's a beautiful movie. It looks absolutely beautiful. They put a ton of work into making these movies. All the respect in the world. Even if I don't really, I just didn't like it.
Yeah. Sweet term. It's okay. Steve Ransom talking about the name thing from ancient Japan. People were just sold into household and renamed. I love that. I love the message of that. Your heritage, understanding your identity and your heritage, I think is really good. Even though I know the Japanese culture part of it more, I thought that again would be a really good life lesson for my granddaughter. So I watched this. I was really thinking about her in mind. with the character and just how much each of her little interactions and her little journey, getting wisdom along the way, learning different things, and then the problem solving, the generosity, the kindness, the payoffs for things that she had experienced earlier, and then overcoming the fear, the uncertainty of things. And later, she's literally hanging out with the creature that was eating humans 5 seconds ago. Like, it was like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. So it's good. So,
Can I respond to Steven real quick?
of course.
That also goes back to the shogunate. That's where it started, was with the houses and the families. One way you kept one clan from destroying the other clan was you exchange sons, firstborn sons. So your enemy would actually get your son as a ransom and you'd get his. And you would raise his kid up like he was your own, and he would raise your up like it was his own. But at any point in time, even those kids knew, I can be, if my dad betrays or does something against, my other dad. So it goes back. I took a course in college on feudal Japan, and the way they treated family is completely different than the way we treat family in the West.
He says in Spirited Away, Squeeka, do you know? He says that some of the backgrounds and the foliage is all done with CG. Makes sense. I don't know.
If I remember right, I'm pretty sure that's one of the things about Spirited Away, and a lot of his films is all of it is hand drawn. I can research it, but I'm pretty sure that was one of the biggest things about it is he sits with people, but it's all hand drawn. Now,
Okay.
that's not to say it hasn't been redone, but as far as I know, the original release it was hand drawn.
Enhance.
Man, it's Scott Westbrook in the house, man, dropping the $5, saying good job. Thank you so much, my friend. I love how they have their descriptions when it crosses. It says the Shiba dog. It doesn't say Shiba Inu. Shiba dog saying good job while raising his thumbs up. It was so detailed on there. Scott, thank you, man. Thank you for your friendship and support all over this whole time, man. It's appreciated. It's really
At least they do that now. They used to not do that.
It didn't cross at all in some of the StreamYard stuff, for sure.
No.
So at least now you can have a better idea what's going on. But yeah, I was trying to get across some of the details to see, but I don't see where it talks about how it was constructed. I do like the long list of analysis this film has with the amount of metaphors and things from, Western commercialism to some of the family metaphors, environmentalism, just, all sorts of different things. So I feel like this is also a film that has even more layers than I could even imagine getting my head around. So that's fine. Howl's Moving Castle was a predecessor. So fair enough. I enjoyed House. I was trying to think about it today as I finished watching it again yesterday, and I was going back through our Talk Hard sort of anime movies, and I thought Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust may be my least favorite anime movie that we've done on Talk Hard. I don't think most of our Talk Hard picks have been really solid. So, yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. You guys in chat are amazing. So, if we had to pick another Ghibli film, Squeeka, what would you like to see next? Did I lose Squeeka?
Sorry, I was researching. I was Googling like madman. I don't know, because it is such a niche thing. Which is what's funny is I know that people of the 80s are known as the Ghibli generation because that's when it came out. But not everybody is really part of that generation. Kind of like not everybody's part of, not Transformers. Oh my gosh, what's the name of the oh my gosh, it starts with the Terminator. Sorry, Terminator guy. We're not all part of the Terminator crews either. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what movie I would subject poor Loki to. It's not his thing.
But I think
I
he's
mean,
okay with it not being his thing. Look, this is
Yeah.
part of
but
the
because they're all kind of. I mean, I'm
this
trying
is
to
part
think
of
of
the
what
journey because
other
we're
than.
gonna like, you know, I don't. We have to keep the reins in an iron caster. To be honest, right? You can make subject you to Street Fighter again. Look, we're not gonna make you do that. But we, every now and again, there's gonna be something that will hit more than another. I made him watch UHF, which was a Weird Al parody movie, which is just
I
literally
loved
just
UHF.
insane. Yeah, it's just insane, stupid, silly. It's not his thing. He doesn't care for that type of parody spoof. It doesn't mean he hated it. Like, oh, it should be banned and no one should. No, it's not that. It's just, oh, it's not my thing. To each their own, right? I'm sure if we watch, what did we watch? Oh man, I was getting the name of the movie wrong. Hell Comes to Frogtown.
How it comes
Not,
to Frogtown.
Hell Comes to Frogtown is another
Oh,
crazy. Not everybody's gonna like Hell. Totally get. It's a combination of Power Rangers and apocalyptic nonsense, and just it's completely nuts.
no.
But we get Roddy Piper goodness. So
I mean, like Nausicaa's good. There's Grave of the Fireflies is different, hard hitting. Like he has some that were. See, there's some that are Ghibli films that are not Miyazaki made, and so it just depends. If you're going off just the studio, there's a whole bunch more on their. Do you call it a discography anymore for filmography? Is that what the word for it is?
filmography would be the right word. Yeah.
Yeah, Nausicaa's a good one. I
Yeah, I
mean,
get a couple of Nausicaa recommendations there. Interesting.
it
Luis, you
is a
seem like a big fan, Luis. Give us a little thumbs up if you would join us for Nausicaa. It'd be kind of fun to have Luis. I don't think Luis has ever been in a house with us. That'd be kind of fun. Someone that's really down the rabbit hole with some Ghibli love. So, yeah.
I mean,
Ronnie,
Ponyo's a good silly one. There's like Ponyo's a good. It's a good silly movie about a fish girl. Like I mean, it's just silly, but it's the same thing. It's got a silly little Weird Al type character in it, and it's got beautiful art. But I mean, and the mom
what
in
Luis
Ponyo is
says.
off the chain. Yeah, so you
Awesome.
can literally know.
Awesome. Thank you,
But
Luis. We'll put Nausicaa on the list, and then we'll hopefully you can message me through Twitter or something. Let me know what's the best way to get in touch with you because you said how I reach out. So we'll kind of figure that out. Maybe we'll just kind of move something around. So
Oh, what I know I did.
we're gonna put Nausicaa on the schedule so Luis can join us, and then we'll team up on Loki. It's part of the fun here. It's part of the fun here. That's all right. It goes around. It'll come back around, I'm sure.
But
So,
Grave of the Fireflies is a really good. It's got a good soundtrack. It's got beautiful art, but it is really sad. It is really sad.
yeah, that's awesome.
That's not
Ronnie,
that's not the movie where that kid's parents. It's like World War II, and
Yeah.
they
yeah,
lose.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
It is. Oh
Yeah,
God.
it's a war
it's heavy,
movie.
heavy, heavy. If we do that one, so I think I'm going to go Nausicaa first. Then we'll do Nausicaa first because it's not like that, so that's fine.
Nausicaa would be a good pick,
I'm
especially
not saying
because
you can't do that. I just recognized what movie it was.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I know
Mhm.
Eris watched it, and I could hear what she was saying when she was watching it. So I was just like, I hope that's not the same damn movie.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be like that. It's war torn, crazy, heavy. Yeah, we'll see. Very uplifting. That's not the impression that I get, but okay. So we'll see. But long before we get to that, anyway, so in final thoughts, let you grade it first. Grade this movie first on your scores movie.
Oh, don't kill me. I'll give it a 6.
That's
Or
actually solid for somebody who didn't love it. I think it's fair.
well, I
That's
like
fine.
the first half of the movie. I love the art. I love the sound was good. The audio was good. It's just that second half of the story. So I mean, that's a third of what I want. I want it to look absolutely badass. I want a kick-ass soundtrack and a good story. And for me, the story got lost halfway through the movie. So
I'll take it. I mean, that seems fine. I mean, yeah. Oh man, Ronnie's throwing in the chat here. Says Grave of the Fireflies is over on YouTube. Huh. Interesting. It's live action version. Interesting. Did not know that. I always assume we're gonna see a lot more live action stuff through AI. People are gonna do stuff. So we'll see. I think 6 is solid for somebody who doesn't totally love the film. I'll put myself out there. I think this is a strong 4 out of 5, and I think this is one of those I put a caveat on my review that it's targeted towards kids, particularly young girls, at least a half a star. And if you have an 8 to 12-year-old girl and she remotely likes manga or anything like that, this is gonna be like a 9 to 10 for her. She's gonna go bonkers for this. And you have a Harry Potter type fan, when they're first discovering that, this is that kind of movie for them as well. It's that type of film. It's not. I hate likening it to things like Toy Story and Toy Story 2 because they're that good, but it's not as broad across the scope with an appeal towards an adult audience mostly, but some will, like SQUEEKA and Ironcaster for sure. So, Ironcaster, how are you going to score this, man? What are you thinking?
So, this, with the caveat that this is not a movie that is made for me, though I do acknowledge the fact that this came out at a time in which, I would have been probably about a good age to have seen it. This was a bit of a gateway film for me to get into the other Ghibli films, to quite a few that I've come to appreciate and hold more dear to myself. I think for kind of a lot of the reasons we've touched on, the plot-wise, this one kind of loses itself a little bit along the way, as it's sort of just we're kind of going along as Chihiro's surviving in this world, but we sort of lose plot of what's our actual goal in the end. Is it to save the parents, get her back home? We kind of forget about this for a while. At the end of the day, though, I'm going to say a 7 because I kind of agree with Loki. It was about the last half to the last third, it kind of starts to lose me as we kind of get into the more mundane of this world. Uh, I do enjoy a lot of the bathhouse scenes, but when we get out, once we get past the bathhouse, when we start getting like out into the weeds with it, where she's going up into the Baba Yaga's office, Yubaba's office, it's kind of lose me for the excitement. Like the no face stuff's a lot of fun. I love watching all the people from the bathhouse sort of kissing no faces at butt as he's throwing them out like fistfuls of gold. There's a lot of enjoyable scenes in there, but yeah, it's not my favorite of the Ghibli films. Like I would say maybe not even top 5.
Okay. Hey, it's fine, man. It's
Ultimately,
good.
7 out of 10, 3.5 stars.
Louise says this was a weird one. Fair enough, but she likes weird. Cool. SQUEEKA, you score the old Spirited Away?
Well, a lot of it's been covered. If you look at it like the storyline it's supposed to be, it is an Alice in Wonderland adventure, and once you put it in lines with those and Coraline, it's movies of that genre. It's like, okay, it is what it is. You have these unexpected turns. Where did the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland come from? I mean, how many kites did you need for that scene? I mean, the mad tea party, it fits along with that girl's journey genre of girl through mystical place genre. I think what pulls a lot of people out of it is the immersion into Shinto Japan and the bathhouses and the gods. And I mean, he got his inspiration from a museum, for crying out loud, for the bathhouse. And so because it's a culture foreign to us, it does seem more foreign than just your typical Alice in Wonderland. But given all that, it's not one of my top 5 Ghibli films either. I do love it because of the soot sprites. That's my favoriteest piece is them and their star candies. And again, the idea behind like I found a little picture of it. It's finish what you started, human. Like I love that line. Like I just love that. And some of the lines that are in the movie. So I give it an 8 out of 10 because I mean soot sprites are up there. Maybe an 8 out of 5 for them. An 8-point soot sprite. 8-point star candy.
You're giving it 8 soot sprites out of 10?
Out of a chimney full, yeah.
I liken it to Wizard of Oz. Kind of. It's definitely way weirder than Wizard of Oz, even for its time.
It still doesn't have a necessarily truly discernible plot other than girl has to rescue people or herself from a magical place. Like,
Well, it's just a coming of age quest, hero's journey. Yeah, I get it all. It's all. Yeah,
yeah.
Scott's
So
here. Hey, Scott, how you doing, brother?
I mean, I give it an 8.5. I do have other Ghibli movies that are my favorite, that are more my favorites. But I just kind of they're Ghibli movies to me. I will go see them, whichever ones they are, because I'm that kind of person.
Yeah, Luis is bringing it up. I forgot all about that. I did promise you that I would watch it for you, Luis, and I never did. I will put that on the list
You
right
have
now.
not watched that movie?
I don't think I have.
Oh,
That's a
wow.
movie.
Mombe. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
second Wizard of Oz.
There's a whole bunch of books. Yeah, they made a second Wizard of
I'm
Oz.
down with the books.
Wait,
I've read some books
I
to
feel
my
like I had a
kids.
coloring book. I thought I had a coloring book about a Wizard of Oz thing. Was this one where they've got the people that have wheels for hands?
Yep. The
I
Wheelers.
had a
Mhm.
coloring book with something like that in it, but I've never seen a movie about it.
Yep. That's the one with the wheels for the hands. The
Well, folks, that brings us
rollers,
to
wheelers, whatever they were.
it gets us around the corner here. We get to look forward to a very special show next week because you know what we're celebrating next week, guys. We're going to celebrate because technically it's the 8th. I think it's the 6th is the first year anniversary with SQUEEKA. Isn't that what we figured out? I think it was the 6th, and I think it's our third. The 8th, I think, is our third year anniversary. It's the 3 years of Talk Hard, man. That's pretty much pretty awesome, man. Really proud of everything, man. It's so awesome. A lot of memories, a lot of fun times, a lot of great stories. So yeah, awesome stuff. So that'll be next week. Then a couple kaiju movies. So yeah, we took in some Clash of the Titans, some old King Kong, which is fun because I actually had a fun time with my son. He hadn't watched the old 2005 in a long time. I was like, oh, let's throw that on, man. King Kong throwing down with some T-Rex is always fun. So that's awesome.
I
Yeah,
haven't
some good
seen that
stuff going.
King Kong either.
Yeah, be some fun stuff for sure. So, and then Squeak a Mouse throwing out 5 more memberships. Holy cow, I better get to work. I better do a member stream or something. I don't know what's going on around here, man. It's way too much pressure. Appreciate it, though. My goodness, you guys are so generous. Thank you, Squeaka. Anonymous, Apollomy, Robert Laurie, Dave C., and The Grifter. So, yeah, great folks. So, probably need to do a little bit of a little camera around the room. So they changed all the comic books and changed all the decorations post Star Wars month. So if nothing else, keep you guys in my life. But if nothing else, if you remember, you could see nice photos of the baby donkeys and some of the farm pictures and grandkid pictures too. So if nothing else, to be in the inner loop. It's awesome. Loki, what's the schedule like, man? Did you make some official changes here for the rest of the week? What are we looking at?
Oh yeah, so next week we start YouTube Talk on Wednesday. YouTube Talk is moving back to Wednesday. We will have something Tuesday, but it'll be later in the night after, probably like an hour or 2 hours after this show ends. I'm thinking like 2 hours after, so probably 8 on Tuesdays, and then YouTube Talk at 3 p.m. on Wednesdays.
All right. Lady Miss is sneaking in too. Make sure we called her out. See what she did there.
Guardian of the Void.
There she is. That's good, folks. Make sure you check out. If you miss a show, just click the channel. Go see. I don't catch the late night shows live. I have to listen to it while I'm driving. So it's fun listening to puppets in 2-speed. You have fun, Loki, and the gang sound in 2-speed. It's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Ironcaster, you're gonna be on with the T-shirt in a little bit. More shenanigans are always afoot.
Oh, there's always something afoot. I can't wait to go over there and find out what exactly T-shirt wants to talk about tonight.
There you go.
Because you think we actually plan these things out?
I figured you always had a scheme.
Oh, I mean, I do, but that doesn't mean like all the players want to play along.
So, a little insider, sort of like Mrs. Pops and Pops lexicon. When our boys, we have, I have a biological son. She has a biological son. They always call themselves half twins because they're actually only 6 months apart. So the half twins were up to shenanigans when they were little boys, being little boys. We walked in the room, but what's going on in here? And the younger one says, schemes are being scummed. So that's why I always feel when I think about Ironcaster and T-shirt, their schemes are being scummed. So we'll see. we'll see.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. You guys are part of my schemes too. Like,
Oh, I appreciate it.
we'll we'll be getting to some more of my picks soon enough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. 2026, we'll see. We'll see. We got a lot of we have a nice full schedule. I got to reshuffle so I can get Louise in. That'd be fun to have her in
Oh,
for
the
sure.
summer of Sandler awaits, pops.
Oh, I know. Sandler's right on the corner. I think we're gonna take a week off during my birthday day though, but it's open to you guys. If you guys want to carry on without me, you guys could do something. I told Loki that maybe Squeeka would pick. We couldn't let Ironcaster pick because it might be too out of control. Well, Squeeka pick something. I don't know. We'll see.
Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. It is.
No,
Not gonna happen.
no.
Squeeka, I know you're finally freed from the shackles of the school system and everything that came with it. So, you got anything planned on the old YouTubes?
Nothing absolutely planned. I have talk hard planned on Tuesday of next week, and I think there's one on the Tuesday after that, and perhaps the Tuesday after that, potentially the Tuesday after.
Okay.
That's all I really have. I know that I'm supposed to watch Blazing Saddles summer.
Yes, she's going to watch Blazing Saddles, and she's going to come on with me, and we're going to share her first watch reaction. I'm still figuring out how much it'll cost me to get Beard to just film some sort of reaction live to at least a couple of those scenes for me personally, but I doubt that'll actually happen. But I oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. And by the way,
I may text you live time as I'm watching it. I may just.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we could just watch it together. I feel like there's a way we should do a private recording or stream or something with Mrs. Pops too, and we'll just watch it together. But I was talking about the fact that you hadn't seen it. We were scheduling this, and I found someone else who had not seen it, and they went right to their phone to watch the trailer and just sat there in both laughing and horror, which I love that reaction because that's about what should happen for people that are a little oversensitive to comedy. So
We don't even need video. All we need is just the audio commentary of you reacting to it.
yeah, I just want something private, and then I can figure out what I am allowed to share or not share. But I cannot wait for that. It's going to be good stuff. So, but
I mean, if it's anything like Airplane alone, I had to pause like every 5 minutes and be like, the what? They did what? Excuse me? Like, why are they arguing over where to put your baggage claim? Like,
oh my gosh. There's no parking in the red zone. The red zone is for loading and unloading only. Don't start with your white zone crap. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Not serious.
For those of you at home that don't know, in our private little talk hard chat, there are little like 3 or 4 pauses where she makes comments like, what is happening with this movie? It's just broken me. And they're about, every 20 or 30 minutes, there'd be another one, basically the same kind of thing. So it was a great experience. We felt like we were living vicariously with Beard watching it with her. So it was awesome. It's awesome. But thanks again to chat. You guys are amazing. It's been such a fun time hanging out with you guys. The generosity is just insane. Thank you so much. Sean, Squeeka, Scott, DJ Ronnie G chiming in. He's been a member. Gosh, I mean, I lost track of where it is. How long has he been a member? He's been a member, I mean, a long time. 24 months, 2 years. DJ Ronnie G has been with me for 2 of the 3 years. Oh, as a member. That's crazy. Wow. And so many great people that see here. They've been on the show. They've been part of the channel and the history of it all. Appreciate you so much. So, and of course, these wonderful folks, man. So that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up just a couple minutes early, just because I still got to figure out how to get everything dried out to function properly. Because I got 3 baby donkeys. If those of you are not a member, yeah, we have 2 baby donkeys that were born on the same day, different moms. I don't know how mathematically or statistically that's even possible. But we went in to eat, and wasn't more than an hour. One was born. We're out there watching, and then my wife's texting me, come back. The other one went into labor, so an hour apart. So it is bonkers having 3 of them now on the property at once. So shenanigans are afoot, and it's been raining. So Mrs. Pops is totally stressed about our babies getting so wet, even though these animals will handle it just fine, I'm sure. But it's what we do around here, the old Pops farm. So, but folks, if you get a chance, earmark next week. We may even open up the door a little bit, let some folks come in and say hi, because 3 years, man, 3 years. It's a lot of fun. So we're churning along. It's been a long story road. I've been going through some of our archives with stuff, putting together a list for some things, and from Tremors and Thing and Wrath of Khan in the wake of the Halo fiasco, and then all the way through to crazy films like Robo-Jocks and Hell Comes to Frogtown and Santa's Sleigh, to Ironcasters torturing us through Shark Side of the Moon and Cocaine Shark, to SQUEEKA showing up and being a part of things in this wonderful family where every other stream she's like, I don't even know what to say, guys. And then she just laugh about laughing. Like, that's my favorite when she starts laughing. All I do is laugh. That's all I do is laugh. And I can't stop
Kung
laughing.
Fury. Kung Fury broke me.
There's a couple of shorts, and they weren't Kung Fury. There's a couple of shorts where it's just you, and there's a piece where it'll be like, I just can't stop laughing. It's just you giggling. And it just makes me laugh, which makes me want to share it even more. So, but yeah, it's been a fun ride, a fun journey, and many of you have been a part of that, and can't thank you guys enough for it. So we'll celebrate a little bit next week with some fun stuff and put that together and have a good time. So, but thanks to all of you for being here. Thanks to you guys hanging out there. Thanks to this wonderful family of friends just hanging out here every week doing this, man. You guys take care, be blessed, talk hard, and like Bob, go chill.
Bob Ross, you'll never see me tripping. Got the vision, I don't even need assistance. Bob